Of Texas Highway has been renamed in honor of a fallen East Texas soldier and a three-time gold medal winner from right here in Northwest Louisiana. I'll introduce you to an 11th grader whose childhood dreams are right on target. Lots to cover. Let's get to it. Well, good evening. From schools and driving to healthcare and crime, hundreds of new laws went into effect today in Texas. Good evening to you and welcome to KTBS 3 News at 10. I'm Brenda Teele. Jeff has tonight off. Well, we begin with those big changes in Texas. Here's KTBS 3's Jonathan McCall.
So when I tell people that I shoot archery, they're like, whoa, like I didn't know people could actually do that as a sport.
Love that for her. Savannah's second love is graphic arts, and her art is on display right now through the end of the month at 850 Texas Avenue in Shreveport. And we're just so happy for her success. Well, Louisiana's public medical schools are growing while law, dentistry, and pharmacy programs are struggling a bit. The new report shows the number of students enrolling for a medical program just surpassed law school enrollment for the first time since 2019. Trump's surge of military presence in Washington, D.C. is aimed at combating crime and cleaning up the city, but critics say it's having a severe impact on the homeless population there. Homeless residents say the raids on encampments have left many without personal belongings, documents, or even shelter. Nonprofits are scrambling to provide meals, health care, and guidance as people try to navigate the sudden disruption. Well, as Americans celebrate Labor Day, new data shows the nation's workforce is shrinking, especially among immigrant workers. Preliminary Census Bureau data analyzed show more than 1 million immigrants have left the labor force between January and July. Now to a heart-stopping rescue caught on camera. A young boy spotted walking along the monorail track at Hershey Park in Pennsylvania, and a quick-thinking Good Samaritan jumping into action. ABC's Morgan Norwood has that story. Oh my goodness. All right, so glad that he's okay, and so glad we got sports coming up. Downtown Daniel Brown is here. He's going to talk about a shakeup in the Saints roster before the start of regular season. We'll be right back.
News continues.
Okay, so we're talking about the quarterback of LSU.
Yeah, Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah,
his
really
odds
good
for winning the Heisman actually went up for the LSU's performance collectively against Clemson.
While Manning's went down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's a lot of expectations on Arch Manning. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Is he, Vince Young for Texas? No, he's a different type of quarterback.
Yeah.
He has the ability to run. But let's take it easy on the Arch Manning hate for now. Let it be more well-deserved.
Says the Saints fan. He's like, oh no, he's coming to the Saints.
Yeah, I may be falling back on that prediction now these days, but he'll be all right. Texas fans, it'll be okay.
He will be.
Yeah.
All right.
TCU fans happy, though, tonight.
Oh, yeah. One in particular, Jerry May, but keep going.
Yeah, putting a beating on North Carolina 48-14 in Bill Belichick's debut. So good job for the Horned Frogs.
I turned in for like 5 minutes so I could see if Belichick was wearing a hoodie sweatshirt with the sleeves cut off, and he was. So
well,
that's all I had to say.
Fitting the brand.
If it works, right?
Fitting the bill, if you will. Sorry.
His normal dress code.
Fitting the bill.
Yeah.
You
got it?
Got
There
it.
you go.
Very
Yeah.
clever.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
No need for hoodies tomorrow with the weather. We're okay right now. We're still very warm outside. Temperatures for you running in the 90s still over the next few days, folks.
All right. Thank you.
I can't wait for the weather. I can't wait.
You can't?
Okay.
All right. It's football season after all. Thank you so much for joining us. News begins again at 4:30. Good night. Federal officials say the mission was to support immigration authorities, but state and city leaders call it political theater that needlessly scared children and families. All of it comes amid a sharp rise in threats against immigration agents nationwide. ABC's Christiane Cordero has more.
Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
And today, U.S. stocks were mixed. The Dow fell 166 points, while the S&P 500 fell slightly, and the tech-heavy NASDAQ gained just under 6 points. Stocks fell yesterday after President Trump announced a slew of new tariffs, but losses were relatively contained. Justin Jefferson, that's my guy.
Yeah, fantasy football legend.
Oh, for sure.
Real life legend.
Oh yeah, but he carried my team all year, so we love him.
And the season he got hurt, oh gosh.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, no clicking. One last look at your forecast and some very important tomorrows in our Big Finish.
Alex, after watching you all these years, thinks that there's not going to be any more 100-degree days just yet. Is that what you're?
No, I was just saying 100-degree days are gross.
Oh, well, there you go. There you
I'm
go.
with you.
His official forecast.
Gross.
Thank you so much for joining us. 1963, a year you may be too young to remember, but the force of what happened 61 years ago today is still very much a part of our lives. Just as the country feels diametrically divided over politics today, in the 1960s, skin color was the dividing line. If these pictures could speak.
Civil rights was a war for the families and the people involved.
They would tell a story of a Sunday.
I'll never forget that night.
When a church memorial service was overshadowed by brute police force, and the president of the local NAACP was beaten.
I do remember Mom saying they were pulling him, trying to get him out of the church, and somebody was holding Dad's other arm, trying to keep him in the church.
KTBS 3 was there that day. It was September 22nd, 1963, a Sunday, a day still considered the most racially divided day of the week. A.G. and C.E. McLean's father was pastor of Little Union Baptist Church. A.G. recalls the plan to march in honor of the 4 young girls killed 1 week earlier in the Birmingham church bombing.
Commissioner Dodd told us, Public Service Commissioner, for a permit to march from corner of Kenneth Avenue and Milam straight to the church past Booker T.
When the request was denied, leaders planned instead for a memorial service inside Little Union Baptist Church.
Most of the NAACP meetings were held here at our church because the other pastors were afraid to have them at their churches.
The memorial service crowd swelled beyond what the church could hold.
And it was packed house. I was sitting about third or fourth pew. At that time we had theater seats.
Maxine Sarpy was new to Shreveport. Her husband's medical office was next door to the church.
We had gone to the service that evening, my husband and I, and had sat with Ann Brewster. And after the service, we left and went to the house.
They all recall what happened next.
It was so chaotic, so much going on. You know, people were screaming and hollering, and they were in fear of their lives. And they were throwing folks up in the trash truck, and people were still running because the police were on the horses.
Years later, Blake would describe what happened that night to C.E. McLean.
He was really taken by surprise, looking one way, and then they cuffed him in the back of his suit jacket and pulled him out.
Blake was dragged out of the church, down the stairs. He was surrounded by a mob of angry police officers. He was beaten right here, just outside of the front door of the church. Dr. Joseph Sarpy Jr. and his wife Maxine were telephoned to return to the church.
There were 3 major macerations in his head, and so it was blood going everywhere.
And he looked like a purple rag, as old preacher would say, just drenched, drenched in blood.
And so immediately my husband had to get busy and start trying to take over his physical condition at that point.
They couldn't take him to a hospital.
And they said, "Oh no, Doc, you can't take him to the hospital because they'd go in the hospital and get him out."
The family went to Dallas and stayed on the campus of Bishop College, now Paul Quinn.
And my sister does remember being on the campus. I think they stayed maybe a month before coming back to Shreveport.
By the time Blake returned, the sanctuary had been restored. Twins Rosa Robertson and Ruther Washington were just 12 years old.
We had to help my dad clean up, which is what the horses left. So.
But the cry for equality echoed 9 more months. When I interviewed Reverend Blake in 2018, he showed me the scar the beating left behind. But it's the mark he left after the beating that speaks louder than hatred.
So he really left an indelible mark on the community. You can't really talk about Allendale and not see the improvements that he tried to make.
61 years have passed since the unmerciful beating of Reverend Harry Blake. There's an historic marker on Milam Street that describes a Sunday never to be forgotten. Blake died in 2020 after a COVID diagnosis. The city of Shreveport formally apologized in 2022. The struggle he nearly died for now rests in the hands of today's generation.
We could have been taught so different and just been bitter adults now. But our family was always with an air of forgiveness about us. God always balances the books, as Dad would say.
Brenda Teele, KTBS 3 News.